My name is Diego, and I was there when Jake's story changed forever. It was a chilly morning in late November 2021 when she stood in the bustling cafe on Main Street, her heart racing as she faced the woman who had once loved her. Jake's ex-wife had arrived, her intentions masked behind a charming smile, but she could feel the tension in the air. As she sipped her morning coffee, its rich aroma wafted through the air, mingling with the distant sounds of traffic. Hope filled her heart, a fragile ember amidst the chaos of their history. She smiled but trembled, knowing that beneath the surface lay a turbulent sea of unresolved feelings. Just weeks earlier, Jake had confided in her about the moment he found his wife cheating, the betrayal still fresh in his mind. How can blood turn to poison like this? What nobody knew was that this meeting would unravel everything, setting in motion a series of events that would redefine her life forever. Jake woke up early, the soft light of dawn creeping through the curtains, casting a warm glow across the bedroom. He stretched and glanced at the clock. It was still early, but his excitement for the day ahead made it impossible to stay in bed. Today marked 10 years since he and Emily had said their vows, and he had planned a surprise getaway to a cozy cabin in the woods. The thought filled him with joy, the anticipation of spending a weekend away from the hustle of daily life, just the two of them. He slid out of bed quietly, careful not to disturb Emily. The familiar aroma of fresh coffee wafted through the house, a comforting scent that always reminded him of lazy Sunday mornings spent together. As he padded down the hall, he couldn't help but think of all the beautiful memories they had created together over the past decade. He could almost hear the sound of birds chirping outside, their cheerful melodies echoing the happiness he felt inside. In the kitchen, he began to prepare breakfast. A spread of pancakes, eggs, and freshly sliced strawberries. He hummed a tune under his breath, the rhythmic sound of sizzling eggs filling the air. Today was going to be special. He envisioned how Emily's eyes would light up when she saw the surprise he had planned. With breakfast ready, he took a moment to soak in the atmosphere. The smell of rain on pavement drifted in through the open porch door, mingling with the scent of breakfast. It was a reminder of the many rainy days they had spent cuddled up together on the couch, sharing stories and dreams. "Just a few more hours, and then we'll be off," he murmured to himself, a smile creeping onto his face. After breakfast, Jake decided to swing by a local bakery to pick up a special cake. As he walked down the familiar streets, he noticed the vibrant colors of the flowers in the front yards, the cheerful splashes of color against the muted backdrop of the cloudy sky. It was a small town, but it was home. And he loved how the community felt like an extended family. The bakery was just a block away, a quaint little place with a bell that jingled when he pushed open the door. The warm aroma of freshly baked goods enveloped him, and he couldn't help but smile as he approached the counter. The friendly baker, a woman named Linda, greeted him with a knowing smile. "Hey Jake, what's the occasion today?" she asked, wiping her hands on her apron. "Just celebrating 10 years with Emily," he replied, his heart swelling with pride. "I've got a little surprise planned for her." "Oh, that's wonderful. You know, keeping the romance alive is all about little gestures. Communication is key," she said, her eyes twinkling. "What kind of cake are you thinking?" "Something special, something she'll love," Jake said, already picturing Emily's delighted expression. "Maybe a chocolate raspberry?" Linda nodded enthusiastically, quickly moving to prepare the cake while they chatted. "You know, Jake," she said, her voice turning more serious, "it's easy to take each other for granted over the years. Make sure you keep talking to each other. Share those little moments. They matter more than you think." Jake nodded, her words resonating deeply within him. He had always believed in the importance of communication, but in the hustle and bustle of life, it was easy to let it slip. As he left the bakery, the rain began to fall lightly, creating a symphony of sound as it hit the pavement. The rhythmic patter against the ground was soothing, but it also felt oddly foreboding. Jake shrugged it off, focusing instead on the excitement of the day. Back at home, he set the cake down on the kitchen counter, admiring it for a moment. The vibrant colors of the raspberries against the dark chocolate frosting made his mouth water. He couldn't wait to see Emily's reaction. But as he turned to grab the birthday candles, his phone buzzed on the table. Glancing at the screen, he saw a message from Ryan, his younger brother. "Hey man, you around? Need to talk." Jake felt a sudden tightening in his chest. Ryan had always been the one to seek him out when things were troubling him, but today was supposed to be about celebration, not problems. "Just getting ready for the anniversary. Can it wait?" Jake typed back, hoping his brother would understand. A moment later, Ryan replied, "No, it can't. It's about Emily." Jake's heart sank, a cold dread washing over him. "What about Emily?" he typed back, his fingers shaking slightly. "Just, you should know, I saw her with someone. I don't think it's what you think." The words hit him like a punch to the gut, and he could feel the world around him beginning to shift. The cheerful sounds of birds chirping and the smell of fresh coffee faded into the background, replaced by a deafening silence. His mind raced, trying to process what he had just read. "Oh my God, I can't believe this." In that moment, everything he had cherished began to unravel. The surprise getaway, the plans for the future, and the love he thought they shared, all crumbling at the hands of a single text message. Jake stood frozen in the kitchen, the weight of betrayal heavy on his shoulders. Today was supposed to be a celebration, but it had turned into a nightmare. Jake gazed out the window. "What a beautiful day," she whispered. Emily noticed her distant look. "You seem lost in thought." The morning light filtered softly through the kitchen window as Jake savored the rich aroma of fresh coffee brewing in the pot. He took a deep breath, letting the comforting scent wrap around him like a warm hug. Today was supposed to be special. It was their anniversary, and he had poured his heart into planning a surprise getaway to a cozy cabin in the woods. He could almost hear the birds chirping outside, their melodies blending with the soft hum of the coffee machine, filling him with a sense of hope for the day ahead. As he poured himself a steaming cup, the door swung open, and Ryan stepped into the living room, his expression a mix of curiosity and envy. "Hey, big brother, are you ready for the big surprise?" he asked, a hint of sarcasm lacing his words. Jake forced a smile, trying to shake off the nagging feeling that something was off. "Yeah, I can't wait," Jake replied, though the words felt heavy in his mouth. Ryan's gaze flickered to the coffee pot. "Coffee for breakfast? You must be really excited," he teased, but Jake barely registered the jab. He was already lost in his thoughts, imagining the smile on Emily's face when she realized what he had planned. With a quick goodbye, Jake left for work, the excitement of the day still bubbling within him. But as he settled into his cubicle, a shadow of doubt began to creep in. His colleague, Lisa, wandered by, her brow furrowed. "Hey Jake, have you talked to Emily about your plans?" "She hasn't mentioned them to me, and you know how she loves to share everything," she said, her tone laced with surprise. Jake's heart sank. "Oh, really? I thought she would be excited about it," he replied, trying to mask the unease building in his chest. "Maybe she's just keeping it a surprise for you too," Lisa offered, but her words did little to ease his mind. As the morning wore on, Jake's mind drifted, the vibrant anticipation of their anniversary dampening with each passing moment. It was during a break that he overheard two coworkers chatting animatedly nearby, their voices weaving through the chatter of the office. "Did you hear about Emily? Apparently she's been seen at that bar downtown with another guy," one whispered, laughter trailing behind their words like smoke. Jake froze, the cup in his hand suddenly feeling heavy. "What?" he mumbled, but the whispers faded into a blur. The world around him dimmed, and his heart raced. The faint smell of rain on the pavement outside mingled with the bitter taste of coffee, creating a jarring contrast in his mouth. That moment in the office changed everything. His thoughts spiraled, the flicker of doubt igniting into a roaring flame. He glanced at his phone, the time ticking away as if mocking him. How could this be happening? Emily, the woman he loved, the one he had envisioned a future with, was she really capable of such betrayal? Determined to confront the truth, Jake called Sarah, his best friend and trusted confidant. "Sarah, I need to talk, now," he said, urgency slicing through his voice. "Jake, what's going on?" she asked, concern evident. "I overheard something about Emily. I don't know how to process it," he confessed, his voice trembling. "Meet me at our usual spot. We'll figure this out," Sarah said, her tone steady, giving him a glimmer of hope. As he hung up, Jake's mind raced with possibilities.
The weight of uncertainty pressing down on him. He had put so much into this anniversary surprise, only to be met with the specter of betrayal. He took a deep breath, focusing on the smell of rain outside, trying to anchor himself in reality. Cultural reflection. In the living room, it hurt like hope. Jake's heart ached as he drove to meet Sarah, memories of laughter and love flashing through his mind. Was it all an illusion? The thought gnawed at him, each beat of his heart echoing the doubt that had taken root. When he finally arrived, Sarah was already waiting, her expression serious. "Jake, you look pale. What did you hear?" she asked, concern etched across her face. "I heard that Emily might be with someone else," he admitted, the words tasting bitter. "Oh my God, Jake," Sarah gasped, her eyes wide. "Are you sure? You know how rumors can spread." "I can't shake the feeling that there's truth to it. I can't believe this is happening," he said, his voice cracking as he struggled to hold back the flood of emotions threatening to spill over. "Let's go talk to her," Sarah suggested, determination in her voice. "Talk to her? What do I even say?" Jake felt the walls closing in, the reality of the situation crashing down like a wave. "Just be honest. You deserve to know the truth," Sarah encouraged, her hand resting on his shoulder, grounding him. Jake nodded, although dread pooled in his stomach. He had to confront Emily, to face whatever reality awaited him. He couldn't let doubt and fear dictate his life, especially not on a day that was supposed to be filled with love. But as he drove back, a micro twist of hope flickered in his heart, battling against the storm of betrayal. Could it be a misunderstanding? Or was the truth far more painful than he could imagine? As the sun began to rise, the smell of freshly brewed coffee filled the kitchen, mingling with the sweet aroma of the pancakes Jake had just flipped. He stood at the counter, heart fluttering with anticipation. Today was supposed to be a celebration of love, a day filled with laughter and joy. Yet, a nagging feeling in the back of his mind made it hard to focus on the pancakes he'd carefully layered with syrup and fresh berries. He glanced at the keychain that lay on the table, a small token he had found in Emily's purse just days before. It was a simple thing, but it had sent a chill down his spine. "Oh my God, what if it's true?" he muttered to himself, recalling the moment he spotted it. It wasn't anything extravagant, just a leather piece with a little charm, but it didn't belong to him or any of their friends. As he flipped another pancake, he couldn't shake the feeling that it was a sign of something deeper, something wrong. When Emily finally walked through the door, her laughter echoed through the kitchen like wind chimes dancing in the breeze. She looked beautiful, her hair cascading over her shoulders, a bright smile lighting up her face. "Happy anniversary, babe!" she exclaimed, wrapping her arms around him. "Emily, we need to talk," Jake said, his voice steady but laced with urgency. "What's wrong?" she asked, her brow furrowing as she released her embrace. He took a breath, his heart racing as he gestured to the keychain. "I found this in your purse. Care to explain?" Her eyes darted to the keychain, and for a moment, Jake thought he saw a flicker of panic. "Oh, that? It's just something I borrowed from a friend. You know how it is," she dismissed, waving her hand as if it was nothing. Jake's heart sank. "A friend? You expect me to believe that?" Emily's expression shifted, frustration creeping into her tone. "Jake, you're being ridiculous. It's just a keychain." "No, it's not just a keychain," he shot back,
anger rising within him. This isn't about the keychain, it's about trust. Seriously, Jake? You're going to throw our anniversary into chaos over something so trivial? Jake took a step back, the weight of her words hitting him hard. It's not trivial to me, Emily. It's the fact that I have to question you. She rolled her eyes, and Jake could see the walls she was building around herself. I can't believe you're acting like this. Just enjoy the day. Emily, I can't just ignore this. I need to know the truth. The conversation hung in the air, thick with tension. Jake felt a mix of dread and determination swell within him. As he watched her walk away, a decision crystallized in his mind. He needed to confront this head-on. The next day, he found himself parked outside a bar, heart pounding in his chest. He had spent the morning wrestling with his emotions and now sat in his car, the cool wind brushing against his skin. Jake glanced at the entrance, a pit forming in his stomach. Maybe this is a mistake, he whispered to himself, gripping the steering wheel. But deep down, he knew he had to do this. He couldn't let doubt fester any longer. Time ticked by slowly, and his mind raced with possibilities. What if he was wrong? What if he was about to ruin everything? But the thought of Emily with someone else gnawed at him. Moments later, he spotted her through the window, laughter spilling from her lips as she leaned against the bar. His heart raced as he recognized the man beside her, Mark, a guy from her work who had always struck Jake as overly familiar. They were close, too close. In that instant, everything he thought he knew shattered. His heart sank further than he ever imagined possible. The hope he had nurtured for their anniversary felt like a cruel joke. The laughter that had once filled their home now echoed in this bar, taunting him. Jake's resolve solidified. He wouldn't confront her here, not in this moment. Instead, he'd gather the evidence he needed, the truth that would force them both to face the reality of what had been brewing beneath the surface. He turned the ignition, his breath quickening. As he pulled away, he felt a mix of dread and determination settle in his chest. This isn't over, he murmured, knowing that the moment he confronted Emily again, everything would change. Cultural reflection. In the kitchen, it hurt like hope. Jake's thoughts spiraled as he drove home, replaying the events of the last few days. The anticipation of their anniversary had been replaced by a heavy weight of uncertainty. He couldn't shake the feeling that everything was slipping away, leaving only shadows behind. A shiver ran down his spine as he parked the car and stared at their home. He had to be ready for what was to come. He took a deep breath, knowing that the confrontation would be inevitable. He had to face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. "Let's see what you have to say for yourself, Emily," he whispered, determination etched on his face as he stepped into the house, ready to confront the reality he feared the most. "I can't believe you did this!" Jake exclaimed. Emily tried to explain, but words failed him. Jake leaned against the porch railing, the early morning sun casting a warm glow over the sprawling backyard. The sweet scent of fresh grass filled the air, mingling with the rich aroma of the apple pie cooling on the kitchen counter. Birds chirped cheerfully in the distance, a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing inside him. He had everything planned perfectly. His heart raced at the thought of surprising Emily with a romantic getaway. Little did he know that his heart was about to shatter. After breakfast, Jake decided to take a stroll around the neighborhood, hoping to clear his mind. As he walked, he felt a strange heaviness in his chest, a sense of foreboding that something was off. He tried to shake it off, telling himself it was just pre-anniversary jitters, but the feeling persisted, gnawing at him like an unwelcome guest. Hours later, as he passed by a local bar, a familiar figure caught his eye. It was Emily. Preserved the original language of the text, and she was not alone. A man sat beside her, leaning in closer than Jake ever had. The sight of them together made his heart sink. Their intimate conversations and shared smiles felt like daggers, each one piercing through the trust he had so carefully built. Jake's breath hitched in his throat as he watched them. "Oh my God," he whispered to himself, unable to comprehend the scene unfolding before him. He felt like an outsider in his own life, watching a movie where he was the unwilling protagonist. The warmth of the sun on his skin felt distant now, replaced by a chill that seeped into his bones. As he stood there, paralyzed by disbelief, he gathered the courage to approach them. But just as he took a step forward, he hesitated, feeling the weight of uncertainty crush him. Instead, he leaned against the brick wall of the bar, straining to overhear their conversation. "I just feel so trapped," Emily said, her voice tinged with a vulnerability that struck Jake like a thunderbolt. "I haven't been happy for months. It's like I'm living someone else's life." Jake's heart raced, pounding in his chest as if trying to escape the reality that was unfolding. He pressed his back against the wall, his pulse quickening with each confession he heard. The woman he thought he knew was unraveling before him, revealing a side he had never seen. "What do you mean?" the man asked, his voice low and coaxing. "You have a good life. You have Jake." "Jake is great, but—" Emily hesitated, her words hanging in the air like an unspoken truth. "I need more than just stability. I need excitement." The world around Jake faded into the background, the sounds of laughter and chatter dissolving into a dull roar. He felt a mix of anger and heartbreak swell within him. It was as if he were watching a slow-motion train wreck, helpless to stop it. The apple pie, once a symbol of their shared joy, felt like a cruel reminder of the life he thought they had built together. As Jake wrestled with his emotions, Ryan, his younger brother, appeared on the sidewalk, oblivious to the storm brewing in Jake's heart. "Hey man," Ryan called out, waving, "what are you doing here?" Jake turned sharply, his expression darkening. "What do you want, Ryan?" "Just thought we could hang out," Ryan shrugged, casting a glance toward the bar. "What's going on? You look like you've seen a ghost." Jake's gaze flickered back to Emily, who was now leaning in closer to the man, her hand brushing against his arm. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." "Try me," Ryan prodded, a hint of curiosity in his tone. She's with someone else," Jake finally admitted, the words tasting bitter on his tongue. "I just saw her here, laughing and talking to him like they have something special." Ryan's eyes widened. "No way! Are you sure?" Jake nodded, his voice low and filled with pain. "I can't believe this is happening. I planned everything for our anniversary, and now—" He trailed off, the weight of betrayal settling heavily on his shoulders. "Man, I'm sorry," Ryan said, the envy that had always simmered beneath the surface fading away in the face of his brother's heartache. "What are you gonna do?" Jake took a deep breath, feeling the reality of the situation wash over him. He could no longer ignore the truth. "I need to confront her. I can't keep pretending everything is okay." As he turned to face the bar entrance, the sunlight glinted off the glass door, illuminating the path that lay ahead. It was time to face the truth, no matter how painful it was. The anticipation of what would come next made his stomach twist, but he knew he had to take that step. In that moment, standing on the threshold of heartbreak, Jake realized that the love he had cherished was not enough to hold them together. The excitement Emily craved had led her down a path he never saw coming, and now he had to find his way back to himself, even if it meant letting go of the life they had built. "Oh my God," Jake whispered in disbelief. "I can explain everything," Emily said desperately. The wind chimes tinkled softly in the kitchen, a soothing sound that contrasted sharply with the turmoil brewing in Jake's heart. He stood there, his hands gripping the edge of the counter, staring at the untouched breakfast he had prepared with so much love. The smell of morning coffee filled the air, but it did little to lift the heaviness that had settled in his chest. "Oh my God, I can't believe this," he muttered under his breath as the reality of the situation washed over him like a cold wave. Just hours ago, he had envisioned a perfect anniversary with Emily, a day filled with laughter and love. Now, the thought of her betrayal clawed at him, threatening to unravel every happy memory they had built together. In a daze, Jake picked up his phone and scrolled through his contacts until he found Sarah's name. She always had a way of grounding him, of bringing clarity to his chaos. He pressed the call button, his heart racing as he waited for her to pick up. "Hey, Jake, what's up?" Sarah's cheerful voice rang through the line, but it felt foreign against the backdrop of his heartbreak. "Can we talk? It's important," he said, his voice trembling. "Of course, you sound off. What's going on?" "Emily, I found out she's been seeing someone else." The words tumbled out, heavy with despair. There was a pause on the other end, and Jake could almost hear Sarah's heart sink along with his. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. What happened?" "I found a keychain in her purse. It's not ours," he confessed, feeling the bitterness rise in his throat. "I thought I was doing everything right, working hard, providing for us, but I guess I missed something." "Jake, you're not at fault for her choices. Just breathe for a second." Her voice was steady, a lifeline in his storm. After they hung up, he let the silence envelop him, feeling the weight of his own failures. Was he so consumed by work that he had neglected Emily's emotional needs? The thought gnawed at him, sharp and painful. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. As the day wore on, he turned to the one thing he knew could distract him, planning his confrontation with Emily. He needed support, someone to stand by him as he faced the truth. With a deep breath, he reached out to Ryan, his younger brother. Jake often felt a sense of competition between them, but in this moment, he needed Ryan's guidance. "Hey Ryan, can you come over? I need to talk," Jake said when his brother picked up. "Sure, what's going on?" Ryan replied, a hint of curiosity in his voice. "It's about Emily. I found out she's cheating on me," Jake said, the words tasting bitter as they left his lips. "No way! Are you serious?" Ryan's tone shifted, a mix of surprise and something else. Was it relief? Jake didn't want to read too much into it, but the thought lingered. "Yeah, I'm planning to confront her tomorrow after dinner," Jake said, determination creeping into his voice. "I'm going to need you there." "Yeah, I'll be there," Ryan replied, but Jake could sense a tinge of excitement behind his brother's words. In the kitchen, it hurt like heartbreak. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow through the kitchen window, Jake felt a mix of resolve and trepidation. He needed to face Emily, to lay everything bare on the table. But he also felt the creeping doubt that came with betrayal, the fear that the love he had fought for was slipping away. Later that evening, he sat on the couch, staring blankly at the TV, which buzzed with sounds he barely registered. Every so often, he glanced at the door, half expecting Emily to walk in, her smile lighting up the room. But all he could feel was the void she left behind. The smell of BBQ wafted in from a nearby backyard, a reminder of simpler times spent with friends and family. The laughter and joy from the neighbors felt like a cruel juxtaposition to his own internal chaos. "Why did I let it come to this?" he whispered to himself, his heart heavy with regret. As he prepared for the confrontation, he couldn't shake the feeling that the next day would change everything. He hoped for clarity, but feared the truth. The moment he had been dreading was approaching, and as he glanced at the clock, he felt the weight of the world on his shoulders. Tomorrow would be the day he either salvaged his marriage or faced the painful reality that it might already be too late. Jake took a deep breath, readying himself for the storm ahead. He couldn't predict what would happen, but he knew one thing for certain: the truth would come crashing down, whether he was ready or not. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the kitchen windows, Jake set the table with meticulous care. The candles flickered softly, and the aroma of roasted chicken filled the air, mingling with the rich scent of freshly brewed coffee. He glanced at the clock. Emily should have been home by now. The evening's excitement simmered just beneath the surface, but an unsettling tension knotted in his stomach. He tried to shake off the worry. After all, it was their anniversary. The surprise getaway to the cabin was supposed to be a celebration of their love. But with every passing minute, his heart sank deeper. The sound of the door creaking open pulled him from his thoughts, and he turned to see Emily step inside, her cheeks flushed and her hair slightly disheveled. The moment she walked in, Jake caught a whiff of a familiar cologne, one he had seen earlier that day, lingering on the keychain he had found. "Oh my God, you're late," Jake said, his voice taut with a mix of anticipation and dread. Emily offered a weak smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I got caught up at work. You know how it is." Jake clenched his jaw, the unease coiling tighter. "You smell like someone else, Em. I saw the cologne earlier." Her expression faltered, and for a moment, the air between them crackled with unspoken truths. "Jake, just tell me the truth," he interrupted, his heart racing. "Are you cheating on me?" Emily's face paled, and she took a hesitant step back. "It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" Jake snapped, the anger rising like bile in his throat. "Because I can't believe this. You're coming home late, smelling like someone else, and you expect me to just let it slide?" The kitchen felt smaller, the walls closing in as the weight of the moment bore down on him. Jake's hands trembled as he fought to keep his composure. "You promised me, Em. You said we were in this together." She looked away, tears welling in her eyes. "I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought it would bring excitement back into our lives." "Excitement?" Jake echoed, his voice rising. "You think betraying me is excitement? Do you even hear yourself?" Emily wiped a tear from her cheek, her voice barely a whisper. "I felt so alone, Jake. I thought you didn't need me anymore. It was just a mistake." "A mistake?" Jake's heart pounded. "This isn't just a mistake. This is everything we built together crumbling right in front of me." He stepped back, the realization crashing over him like a wave. Reflection. That moment in the kitchen changed everything. He had envisioned this night as a celebration, a reaffirmation of their vows, not a battleground of broken trust. "Jake, I'm so sorry," Emily pleaded, her voice trembling. "I never meant for it to go this far." "Do you have any idea what this feels like?" he shot back, pain lacing his words. "You've shattered everything we had. My heart sank the moment I found that keychain, and now this?" "I didn't think you'd find out," she whispered, a confession that cut deeper than the knife on the counter. He shook his head, disbelief washing over him. "You didn't think I'd notice the signs? The late nights? The secrets? How could you do this to us?" In that charged silence, the only sound was the soft flicker of the candles and the distant chirping of birds settling down for the night. "Jake, please," Emily implored, her eyes searching his for understanding. "I'll do anything to fix this." "Anything?" he spat, anger and heartbreak colliding in his chest. "You can't just erase what you've done, Emily. It doesn't work that way." The tension in the air was palpable, a raw electric charge that threatened to erupt at any moment. Jake felt the hurt spiraling into a whirlwind of rage and sorrow, and he struggled to find the words that would articulate the chaos in his heart. "Maybe I should have seen this coming," he said finally, his voice quieter but no less pained. "I've always put you first, and yet here we are." Jake stepped back further, needing space from the person who had once felt like his other half. Cultural reflection. In the kitchen, it hurt like heartbreak. He could hardly recognize the woman standing in front of him, the woman who had promised to love him through thick and thin. "Jake, I want to make it right," she said, desperation creeping into her tone. "I still love you." He couldn't respond. Love felt like a distant memory now, a flickering flame extinguished by betrayal. Instead, he simply turned away, the pain too raw to articulate. The anniversary that was meant to celebrate their love had transformed into a night of reckoning, and in that moment, he knew that nothing would ever be the same again. "Enough!" Jake shouted, her voice echoing. "Please, let me speak," Emily pleaded. "There's nothing left to say," Jake finalized. Jake stood in the kitchen, the smell of fresh coffee mingling with the last remnants of the pancakes he had made earlier. He stared at the table he had so lovingly set for their anniversary dinner, a candle flickering in the center, casting dancing shadows across the plates. His heart sank deeper with each passing second, memories of the morning's revelations replaying in his mind like an endless loop. "Jake, can we talk?" Emily had said earlier, her voice trembling. The words hung heavy in the air, and he had dreaded what was to come. The truth spilled out like a broken dam. She had been unfaithful, chasing a thrill that had nothing to do with their life together. "Oh my God, I can't believe this," he whispered to himself, gripping the edge of the table as if it could anchor him to reality. The sound of wind chimes outside seemed to mock him, their light tinkling a stark contrast to the chaos inside his heart. Emily walked in, her appearance a stark reminder of the distance that had grown between them. She looked disheveled, the spark of excitement that had once drawn him to her now replaced with a shadow of guilt. "Jake, please, Save it," he interrupted, his voice cold. "I don't even know who you are anymore." The weight of betrayal pressed on him like a physical force, making it hard to breathe. He could feel her pain, could see the tears pooling in her eyes, but it didn't matter. His heart was a fortress now, impenetrable and guarded. "We had plans, Emily. I was going to surprise you. I wanted this night to be special," he said, his voice cracking under the strain of emotion. "I know, and I'm so sorry," she replied, her voice barely a whisper. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I got lost." Jake turned away, not wanting to see her face. The kitchen, once a sanctuary filled with love and laughter, now felt like a cage of despair. He thought of the dreams they had built together, the plans for a future that now seemed tainted. As silence settled between them, Jake felt an unexpected surge of resolve. "We can't keep going like this," he said, finally meeting her gaze. "I think we need to seek help. Maybe couples therapy could, help us figure this out?" Emily's eyes widened, a flicker of hope igniting within her. "You really think we can salvage this? That we can try again?" "I don't know," Jake admitted, the honesty raw and unfiltered. "But love isn't enough if we don't communicate. We need to rebuild trust, and that's going to take time." They spent the next few weeks navigating the painful landscape of their relationship, going on small dates to reconnect, sharing their feelings in a way they hadn't in years. Each conversation was a step forward, but it was a delicate dance, fraught with the ghosts of betrayal. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Jake turned to Emily. "You know, it's strange. I always thought that love was enough, but now I see that it requires effort, commitment, and honesty." Emily nodded, her expression softening. "I realize that now too. I took us for granted, and I'm sorry for that. I want to work on us, Jake." He took her hand, feeling the warmth of her touch, a reminder of the love that still flickered beneath the surface. "Maybe we'll never go back to how things were, but we can find a new path together." As they sat in the fading light, Jake felt a glimmer of hope. It wouldn't be easy, but perhaps they could emerge stronger from the ashes of their betrayal. The journey would be long, but for the first time in weeks, he believed in the possibility of healing. "Love isn't just a feeling, is it?" he mused aloud, reflecting on the journey ahead. "It's a choice we make every day." And as the stars began to twinkle in the darkening sky, he knew they had a long way to go. But for the first time, the weight of despair felt a little lighter. "Have you ever had to rebuild something you thought was lost?" Jake asked, glancing at the porch railing, as if searching for answers in the night sky. "And you, on your porch, How would you choose to rebuild? Jake smiled for the first time in days. Everything will be okay. Emily nodded. You're stronger than you know. Everything will be okay, Jake said, his heart lifting slightly with each word. Emily nodded, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. You're stronger than you know. She squeezed his hand, and for a fleeting moment, he felt the walls around his heart begin to crack. As they lingered in the twilight, the familiar sound of the wind chimes danced through the evening air, a gentle reminder of the peaceful times they had shared. The soft tinkling resonated in Jake's mind, weaving memories of laughter, late-night talks, and dreams whispered under the stars. It's funny, he said, breaking the silence, how something as simple as the sound of chimes can bring back a flood of memories. Emily smiled, a bittersweet expression crossing her face. I used to love sitting out here with you, just talking about everything and nothing. Me too, he replied, the warmth of nostalgia wrapping around them. It was easy then. The shadows lengthened as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue across their porch. Jake inhaled deeply, savoring the scent of blooming jasmine from the garden, a fragrant contrast to the heaviness still lingering in the air. I want us to find that ease again, he confessed, but it's going to take time, isn't it? Yeah, it will, Emily said, her voice steady. But I'm willing to put in the effort. I don't want to lose you, Jake, not again. He felt a flicker of warmth in his chest, a sign that perhaps they were both ready to forge a new beginning. How about we start small, he suggested, looking into her eyes, searching for sincerity. Let's make it a point to have coffee together every morning, just the two of us, no distractions. Her face lit up, a spark of hope igniting. I'd love that, just us, reconnecting over something simple. As the first stars began to twinkle above, Jake felt an unfamiliar lightness. We can share our goals, our dreams, and even our fears. I think that's where we start to rebuild. Agreed, Emily replied, her grip tightening on his hand. And I promise to be open and honest with you, no matter how hard it is. With each word, Jake could feel the fortress around his heart softening, replaced by the warmth of vulnerability. Then let's make a pact, he said, his voice steady. No matter what happens, we face it together. Together, Emily echoed, their fingers intertwining like the threads of their lives, frayed, yet still strong enough to weave a new tapestry. As the stars shone brightly above, they both understood that while the road ahead would be challenging, they were willing to walk it side by side.